This week on SV Lynx. Welcome to this week's SV Lynx video. If you remember way back in the beginning of our videos, we did our virtual tour where we showed you what the galley looked like. And now we've actually put the galley cupboards in, so let's see how we compare between the two. We chose to put our galley up against the helm station so that we have a full-size wall. With that, we've made space for our electric oven, our microwave, and on this side, our refrigeration unit with the refrigerator on top, freezer in the middle, and ice maker down below. As you can see, we're pretty close.
Yeah, and this week we got these glued in now. The arm here isn't glued yet, but this is in position now, and it worked out great. So let's show you how we glued this all together during the week here. And also, we did a whole bunch of other work, so we'll show you that as well. What Brian's doing right here is putting in new baffle holes, because since this is the hull that starboard side that's going to be a single head hull now, the baffles we set up for two black water tanks and a gray water tank. Now what we want to do is, where he's standing in was the black water tank, and then that baffle right there extended that black water tank into this area. Didn't before. And we want it to now, because we want that black water tank to go further. Since it's the only head in this hull, it's going to need more space for black water. And then over here, this center one right here, that was the gray water tank before, but now we want the gray water tank to go all the way from this wall here through here, which now becomes a baffle when it used to be a wall, and all the way through up to this wall, which we haven't actually glassed in yet. So what that just meant is we have to drill a new baffle hole through there and through there, and we have to seal up the one right here. So what we're going to try to do is take one of those plugs that he just made right there and put that into the center hole on this one, and we'll close that up, and they'll have to make another little plug for down into the corner down there, because that has a lets through, and we'll have to open up the corner on that one and this one. But once we do all that, we'll now expand the size of the black water tank, expand the size of the gray water tank over here, since there's only a shower and head in here, so that's all we need. Now we got to seal all these holes, both the old ones up and the new ones cord areas. So we're good. There you have it. We've got our new bottom hole and baffle hole in and sealed up. We've got the new divider between black water and gray water sealed up completely. And we've got the baffle holes through between this compartment and that one for the gray water now. So all set. On to other things. Okay, we're on the port side of the boat now, and This is laid out completely differently, well, somewhat differently than the starboard side, because that has only one head and one shower. This has two heads and one shower. So the way it's laid out here is, those are the two diesel tanks. We already did those. And then right here is black water. And that's just inside of this one right here. And then these two right here, this is just a baffle, is the gray water for the shower area. And then that's a baffle, and the end wall and here are the black water tank for that second head over there. And then over here is a baffle for the diesel tank that goes right there. And we already have these two diesel tanks, and they have their baffles, which will go in a bit up there. So what we're going to do this stage is pick a tank, which is probably going to be this black water tank right here, and we'll start cleaning. And we have to vacuum it, we have to soap clean it, water clean it, and then we have to acetone or alcohol clean it. So we got to get this really clean first. We might have to do a little, well, we will have to do some sanding after all that, and then another cleaning. So a lot of steps to get this ready to go, but they don't take long. So I'm going to do the cleanup on this, and then I'm going to have Brian cut the salt for it. So you need a measuring tape, Brian. All right, stage one. Stage two, a little scrubbing before I sand it, because I want to make sure I get any surface dirt off of here. Brian. So I'm going to switch over to doing the salt here. More done. Okay, so next tank. This is a gray water tank here and here, and this is its baffle in between. Now the baffle is double tabbed on here right now. It's never going to go anywhere, so we don't need to do any strengthening to this. Really, it's the bottom of the boat, and just to make that strong, we want to go up the side. So we're not going to bother with the baffle, but we're going to do this as if this was a tank, and this is just the baffle in between. Our gray water tank is Got basalt there. Next up today is we're going to glue in the end cap on the Blackwater tank there because it's not glued on yet. And then tomorrow we're going to put basalt into this, which is going to be a third diesel tank. You got 1, 2. Well, technically that's one tank. It's just one big tank with a lot of baffles in it. So there's big tank up front, medium-sized tank back so we can transfer fuel back and forth to balance the boat a little bit. And so I got this one to do and the Blackwater tank to do on this side of the boat. And then we'll go back to the other side and start working on those ones. So this is coming along really quickly. And so in another 3 days, we'll have the basic layer of basalt in the bottom. Then we'll move on to the lids. That's going to be a bit of work because first we have to create all the L brackets that support the top of the tanks. So we'll be making those. We've made them in the past. We just have to make a bunch more. And once those are glued into place so that the top can go down on it, we'll start cutting out the tops that go down on top of these things on each one of these. And since we're running low on offcuts, we'll have some big ones, probably enough for some of these larger tanks, but some of these smaller tanks, we might actually have to piece a couple pieces together to make it, which is no big deal. And I just don't know how much offcut we have left. I know we have some, I just don't know how much. So now this big compartment right here doesn't hold any liquids, so we don't have to do anything in here. It's this is where all the plumbing is going to be. So you got your big pump to pump the Blackwater tanks out in here. You've got your manual gauges for all the tanks, Blackwater, gray water, diesel fuel, both sides. They all come into this compartment. And those two compartments down that direction are storage. Now, we might end up putting 1 or 2 batteries down there. So if that's the case, we'll have to seal off that section and make it airtight for the batteries. But it's not liquids, so we don't have to put basalt in the bottom or anything. We'll probably put a little flat flooring in to support the battery if it goes in there. This morning we're continuing our tank work here on the port side. And got our 2 diesel tanks, got our Blackwater tank, got our gray water tank. This is the other Blackwater tank, and we're going to do that one right now. And then the only tank left on this side is right here, is the other diesel tank. And so tomorrow we'll get this one done. Today we're going to do this Blackwater, and then we're going to go over to the starboard side and start working on some more of those tanks. There's only 2 done over there, 2 compartments. So we'll start work on that, but I'm anticipating having all of these tanks in both holes done this week. So that'll allow us to get on to making the lids and starting all the plumbing work. And that's moving along rapidly, so I'm happy with the progress. First thing I got to do right now, though, is sand the inside of this tank. It's already been cleaned, but I need to give it a sand and then another clean. Okay, still need to clean it with some alcohol, but other than that, it'll be ready to glass. If you're wondering about building water tanks and fuel tanks into the hull and how strong that really is, just remember that on the outside of the hull there are 3 layers of basalt. Under that there's another layer of fiberglass. Actually, 2 more layers of fiberglass. Then there's the foam. Then there's 2 more layers of fiberglass on this side. Then another layer of fiberglass on top of that we put on. Then the layers of basalt we're putting on right now. So this stuff is incredibly strong through the hull here. And we have no worries about the strength of the tank. Plenty strong. And then we have access ports that we're putting in so that we'll be able to get down inside of here to do any future repainting or cleaning or anything like that that has to get done, can be done if we need to. And, you know, in the worst case scenario, we hit something very sharp and it breaks a hole through somewhere in the hull. Yeah, whatever liquids are in here are going to go out, but only in the compartment that the hole's in. So it's only going to be one small compartment if that ever happened. It's unlikely to ever happen. If it ever did, it's just one small compartment that would flood. In which case we would cut out the top and go in and repair the hull and re-put new glass and such on, and glue it all back together, repaint it all, and do all that stuff. So it can be rebuilt if a worst case scenario happens, but because this is so strong, it's very unlikely to ever happen. So either way, we're not concerned about having our fuel or water tanks down low. And of course, we get a lot of benefits for having down low. It puts the weight down low. And that's real beneficial, very beneficial, I should say, in a catamaran, because the lower the weight is, the more stable that catamaran becomes. The higher the weight is, the less stable it is. Because if you're trying to tip something over and you put a weight up high, that helps it tip over. You put weight down below, and when a gust hits and it starts to lift one of these hulls out of the water, suddenly 2,000 extra pounds of liquids are trying to come out of the water, and that is going to be very, very difficult to tilt over versus weight up top. That's why we took the fuel tanks from up high and the water tanks from up high, moved them all down low so that we could make the cat much more stable and safer. And we don't have that much we would do with these bilges anyway, so it's a good place to store it. We can use the other areas that are more accessible for storage that we have to get into all the time. So there were a lot of benefits to us doing it this way. And building our own tanks is also significantly cheaper than buying tanks and dropping them in here. And even if we had done that, had custom-made tanks to put in here, if we ever had a problem with that tank, getting it out would be actually more difficult than it would be to repair one of these if it got a hole in the bottom of the boat, because all the walls and everything will be up on top of here, and we'd have to try to remove all of that to try to get a pre-made tank out. So we considered all of the pluses and minuses, and of course there are always pluses and minuses, but we considered them all and decided that low built-in diesel, black water, gray water, and freshwater tanks made sense for this boat design. Okay, I gotta get some alcohol and clean this because Brian's probably pretty close to finishing. He's out there cutting all the basalt and all the peel ply right now for this one. We're doing these two compartments, or they're actually one tank. This is a black water tank. This is just a baffle right here. So alcohol, that's what I need. Not the drinking kind, the cleaning kind. Alrighty. Blackwater tank.
$500. I'm thinking.
I think this one's bigger. 39, 29, yeah, let's go 6. Good thing we only do 4 of these a day. There's 2, and we'll go do two on the other side today because I only got so much leaning over a tank and doing that in a day. But I can get 4. And then we'll do some other work that isn't leaning over a bilge. So we got this glued in here. It goes right up against this edge because this wood insert right here actually goes inside of this. So the cupboard goes right up against there. And that gives us maximum width over here for our refrigerator. Now, the refrigerator is smaller than that. It's 23 inches, and this is 25 and a half. So I think it's 25 and a half. Do we have a measuring tape?
Yes.
I thought there was one on this table. Let's see what it really is. It is, no, I'm wrong. See, because of that going all the way over there, it's 27, or for those in metric, 680 millimeters. So that gives it a lot more space than what the refrigerator needs, and that's good to give a little breathing room on the side of the refrigerator. Same thing on top. It's got extra height for the refrigerator as well. Let's see what this is currently. Yeah, the refrigerator is down about here. So refrigerator's got a little space around it. We wanted that. And by having this go, by having this go all the way over to the wall there, we got maximum width here. That little thing you see down there is just a brace holding the wall over level correctly. That gets removed. So we got that done. That's not all we got done today. I've showed you so much of this tank stuff that we didn't bother filming more, but you can see that there's 3 more tank compartments done here. So all of these were done this morning, and all that leaves is 1 diesel tank right here to do, and the same 1 diesel tank on the other side of the boat, and we'll do that our next work day. And that will conclude all of the basalt reinforcements that we need. Sorry, I was falling downstairs. All the basalt reinforcements we need for the gray water, black water, and diesel tanks. Now, the water tank. We've had a big change on that. Remember that the water tanks go in that, beyond this bulkhead, they go into that next space up. That huge space there underneath the bed is where our water tanks go. And we were going to build those water tanks. And further research last night, before we got started on them, I wanted to make sure. And so it turns out that we don't want to build those. And the reason we don't want to build them is the insides of these tanks are going to be done with West System epoxy. And I looked that up, and that's fine for diesel and gray water and black water. We have to put many, many layers of a special mix of it, but we're going to be lining those tanks with a very thick layer of West System epoxy over the basalt, which is also epoxied, and the fiberglass underneath of it. But the problem is that that can't be done for drinking water. And so if you want to go with the FDA rules about drinking water, then we can't build those tanks, the drinking water tanks. So the answer is we're going to order polypropylene, I think it is. But anyway, it's a food grade water tank made for fresh water. And we're going to order 4 tanks and just put them in. Now, that would have been very difficult down the hulls because the sole goes on top, the walls go on top, the furniture like the toilets and all that goes on top. And so if we ever had to take one of those tanks out, we would have to destroy the boat to do it. Not true for the water tanks. The water tanks can be taken in and out at any given time, because all we have to do is move the bed, mattress, and the support for the mattress out of the way, and those tanks can come right up and out. And because of that, I don't mind having those pre-made tanks, because if we need to replace one, if we need to take it out and just clean it and rinse it and all that stuff, they can come right out of the boat easily. So it makes sense for us to go with the water tanks up there, and we kind of have to, because turns out we really shouldn't be making those, and so we're not going to. But that adds a cool boat buck, and if you're not familiar with boat bucks, it's 1,000 US dollars as a boat buck. So that's another boat buck to put in those 4 freshwater tanks, but that's the way it is. So we will do it. But we are going to save a little bit of money in another area. How we're doing the inspection ports on the tops of the tanks. We were going to go with a Vetus inspection port, but they're expensive and we would need a bunch of them, and so that would be more than a boat buck to put those on. So instead, we're going to make our own inspection ports, and that's actually not that hard to do. So we'll show you that, but they'll be bolted on with a seal underneath of where it bolts down, so it'll make a great seal. And yeah, you have to undo the bolts to take inspection, but we really don't have to inspect them very often, so and we're not worried about that. And that'll save us the amount of money that we're going to spend on the freshwater tanks. So, trade-off. We're over on the chamfer panel today, and this begins the work on the bow, and there's a lot of work on the bow. And the reason that you see this faired right here is because we kerfed the living hell out of this thing to get this thing to bend through here. And all those little checkerboard curves, sort of see it in coloration right there, but here at the steep part, it made a bit of a checkerboard pattern to that, and we want it smooth, so we faired this section on there. But we also want to put glass over the top of all this, so we're going to do that right now. All right, going up. This is where I get in my hair. Good morning. Sorry about the noise. Somebody's doing some construction out in the street there. But it's time to get the last 2 tanks in this bilge, both sides, done today. One on this side, one on the other side. And so we're on the port right now, and this is the diesel tank I'm standing in. So first thing I do is got to get it cleaned up, sanded, and cleaned up again. So I'm going to get to that, and then Brian will mix me up some epoxy. Before we decided to make this a diesel tank, we put a hole through here so that it would drain down. So before we can seal this up, we gotta seal up our drain hole down here. So while I'm waiting for him to mix epoxy, which is only gonna take a minute here, because it's just thin now. Let's talk about the water tanks a little bit again. As I mentioned, we decided to go with built-in pre-made tanks for the water, fresh water. But what we're going to do is we've got 2 40 gallons over here on the port side, and then we've got 2 40 gallons over on the starboard side, and then right in the center up there, right where the rain catchment system comes down, we're going to have a 20-gallon pre-made tank up there. That 20 gallon is so that the rainwater goes into that, then we can pump from there into our filtration system and then send it to one of the tanks. But we've decided that we're really only going to have one 40-gallon rainwater tank, and we're going to have three 40-gallon tanks, freshwater tanks that are for when we make water. Because it's going to be more often that we make water than we collect rainwater, because there's plenty of places in the world where it doesn't rain that much. And so the only way we're going to be able to get fresh water is to make it ourselves from our rain, or pick it up at a dock, either one. So that's what we're going to do. All right, let's do the leaning over work again. Alrighty, the ultimate last one. Got it all cleaned up. Got a couple little spots in it that need some fill though, so we're going to do that right before we put the glass on here. And it's got same thing on this side, little pass-through holes, so I'm going to have to fill those. Okay. I'm so happy to be done. It's hard on the back, leaning over these things, especially for me. Why especially for me? Because I have a mutant back. When I was younger, I used to get backaches. From leaning over a car fender when I was tuning it up. And I went to a doctor about it eventually, and they took an x-ray and found out that in my lower back I have a double wide vertebrae. So leaning over is hard on it. So I try not to do that too much, particularly certain angles. If I can keep my back straight like I am right now, it doesn't hurt at all. But if I lean over too much, it causes trouble. So this is leaning over work, so I'm happy to be done with it. Got all these in now. And trash. The next phase of it is going to be higher up here. I don't have to lean over so much. So that's good. I'm happy to be done with that. Now that the bottoms of the tanks are in, we've got to work on the tops of the tanks. And for that, we need to put a lip around for the top of the tank to bond to. And so we've created some lips like this in the past. We're going to do it again now. So what we're doing here is 4 layers of glass. We'll wet them out together right here, and then we'll pick up that 4 layers. Here's an example of what it's going to be like when it's finished. And that glues on like this, and then our top piece goes on top of there. So once we get these 4 laid out and wetted out, then we're going to bring them over here and put them on these on this side right here, and that gives us a nice curve. Now there's a release agent on these, so hopefully they won't stick. We're making our L brackets here. Okay, now we peel it up and take it over to our form, which is a you go in first. Rain gutter. And this one edge of the rain gutter does a perfect job. All right, so am I coming your way? All right, come this way, this way. There we go. We have to do this 3 days in a row because each day we make 40 feet and I need 120 feet for the bilges. So tomorrow we'll do a set of 4 more, and then on Monday we'll do another set of 4 more, and then we'll be ready to put the lids together with our L brackets setting up onto the rain gutters. We need to do something else. So coming over to this refrigerator wall here, and it had this skinny little piece that has foam on either side, and we didn't want to try to cord that while it was all floppy, so we glued it onto this so that it's stable. And now we're going to go ahead and core out a little bit of foam on each side and fill it, because right now we've got foam sticking out here. So I'm going to do a little sanding and not much coring because this isn't structurally needing it, just to seal it. So I'm going to grind off just a hair and fill that. It's Saturday. We got Jeff helping, and he's sanding up the openings here, and he's going to sand the galley covers that we put in some epoxy in yesterday. And then I'll show you what Brian and I are doing downstairs while he takes care of that. Meanwhile, down here, Brian and I are working on the baffles for the diesel tanks, and we're creating our own inspection ports because it's just a lot cheaper, frankly, than buying pre-made ones, and technically almost easier than getting those ports to fit perfectly in there. So we have to cut a couple notches out of this at the top here to leave room for our arm to go down the side, leave room for a nitro rubber seal around there. So we just worked out what we're going to cut, and I'm going to chop that out momentarily. Here. So this is actually where the inspection port's going to be, and once we take that off, we needed room to come down with our arm in here, and that's what this area is about. All right, let's go upstairs and figure out what we're going to do over there. So these are approximately where these go, and actually over here a little bit more. Now we're going to have to cut down this one as well to let our inspection port go down. It sits on these edges all the way around. So we'll get that figured out right now and get this cut. Okay.
Gonna be able to reach down through there like that.
Get this filled in with some freaking epoxy. Brian's downstairs doing the baffles, same way.
We got a lot of work done this week. Along with the galley cabinets, our main focus this week was getting the liquid tanks in both hulls.
Yeah, that was really back-breaking work for me, leaning over here like that. But I wanted to get it all done in 1 week, and we did accomplish that. So quite happy about it. And we're going to be concentrating on the tops of these tanks next. And fortunately, in checking my plans, now this isn't the showing plans, this is my own plans for how I did these, because I've done these tanks a little differently than they were originally called for. Remember, I moved them down from the deck down into the hull, so I had to do this myself as far as the plan for it. But I did speak to Shonik about this, so it's all good. However, I talked about earlier during the week how we have to put in a tank top and then the sole, but that's not actually true. We only have to put the tank tops in the diesel tanks because they have plumbing that goes on top and I have to use space for it. But when it comes to the gray water and the black water tanks, the sole itself will become the top of the tank, and this gives us more storage in there. And since there's no plumbing on top, it all comes through the sidewalls. We don't have to leave that extra space above there. So that saves us quite a bit because we don't need to have offcuts to make those tank tops. It's the actual sole, and we don't have to make all the L brackets to support those and glue those on. So it's a lot less work. It's a lot more storage of liquids. And that was the original plan. I just made it a while back, and when I looked at it last night, I went, oh wait, we don't have to make those tank tops. So we're going to get working on the diesel lids that go down deeper and get those L brackets put on and start moving on to some other parts of the tanks, because we're wanting to get these things done as fast as possible. But we're also going to start working up in the salon and start maybe taking a look at the nav station and then on to the table soon. So lots to go next week. But thank you for watching this week. We do appreciate you stopping by and spending time with us.
Yes, and thank you to our patrons listed here. We could not do this without you. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click on the bell icon to be notified of our next video.
Which will have more bilge work and some new work up in the salon. See you then.
Bye.